Hello, everyone. This is Anne Butler, the Book Griffin. Welcome to another book chat. My conversation will be with Summer Paige, and I am about to bring her in. So, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go and get her. Hello, hello. Summer, calling Summer Paige. Hello.
Here we are.
I can see you. I can see you. You're very faint, though. I don't know if it's you or me.
Very faint.
Yes. Your voice. Hang on. Let me see if it's me. Hang on. So you've muted. Okay, recite the alphabet for me, Summer.
A, B, C, D, E, F, D.
Yeah, it was me. That's better.
No, we've got. Oh, how far do you want me to go with this, Anne? How far are we going? Oh, hold on, Phoebe.
I am testing to see if you are truly an author or if it's just all a mirage.
And I'm an AI. I'm completely fake.
I can see. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We made it.
Finally, eventually. It took us time, but that's all we are.
I'm so glad to be speaking to you again because we have spoken before. Do you remember?
Yes, I really do. Honestly, that's a fun night. That was my first event as Summer Paige ever.
Okay.
So really meeting you was really, really nice. It was nice to meet some fellow indie authors, and I was honestly so nervous. Did it not come across like that? I was terrified.
No, not at all. Not at all. It didn't come across that way at all. And what's really weird is that when you were talking about, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of things. When we met in Leeds, you were talking about one of your titles, and I thought, this sounds familiar. This sounds familiar. Maybe it's just another book by that title, because it never occurred to me that I was speaking to the author. And then of a book that was on my Kindle. So it was weeks later, and I'm thinking, oh, what should I read next? What should I read next? And I was sort of scrolling through, and I thought, oh, it was her. I didn't read it then. I waited a bit longer to read it, but yes, I did read it. But yes, so Summer Paige, not to be confused, people, with Paige Summers.
Yes, totally different names. It was really weird, actually. So when I first started writing, I started doing it on Wattpad, and I did that for about 2 or 3 years when I first started that a couple of years ago.
Yes.
In around 2021, and I really enjoyed doing that, and that was kind of what got me back into writing. And I wrote under an entirely different name. Now, when it came to me publishing, I wanted to kind of break that tie to those kind of stories. Obviously, they were unedited, they were very rough, they were just made for fun.
Yes.
And I wanted to break that tie. So at the time, with only 500 followers on my Instagram and most of them being bot, I hit out my friends and to my followers, and I was like, what should we rename Summer as? And that's how we came up with Summer Paige. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's kind of become an alter ego, if you will, because obviously it's an alias. I don't write with my legal name.
The same.
Yeah, but I work a full-time job as well alongside it. So I'm very public facing, and I work with a lot of really big companies. So the idea of going to one of those meetings and someone being like, I've read your book, is like, I'm good, thanks. I'd rather not. Don't come out right now.
So where are you at the moment? Are you in the UK right now?
I'm at home. Yes, I'm at home in Leeds, which is where I'm based. Currently sat up in my office. So yeah, it's nice and cozy, in the middle of decorating bits and pieces and adding a personal touch to it. But
okay. Right. So you have written several books now, and I have the pleasure of reading Lethal,
Yes.
which I loved. So Lethal is the book that you were talking about when we met in Leeds, when I didn't realize that it was your book that I had on my Kindle waiting to go. I really, really loved Lethal because very careful now not to give away any spoilers. I love revenge stories. I love kick-ass female characters. I love main male characters who love their lady and is not an arse about it.
Yes. Yes. It was really important for me when I started drafting Tori and started thinking about her story. She was with me for a good couple of weeks while we kind of just imagined itself into my head. And I published one book before I published Lethal, and it's
Was that Mulberry Lane?
Yes. Yeah. So Mulberry Lane, I released that in May, the same year that I released Lethal, so only 2024. And it didn't get the love that it needed. It was specifically put it out just to try and work out the whole indie publishing area. I had only just started connecting with Bookstagram. I'd only just started kind of dipping my toes into the whole indie publishing way. And it was one of my friends that was kind of like, you can just publish this on Amazon. And I was like,
That was me. That was me.
I was like, wait, me? And then I was talking to my nail tech, and my nail tech, Eve, is one of my closest friends and my biggest confidence. She's the person who I've been seeing her since 2021, and she has been my biggest support the entire time. She's the one who pushed me to go, and she was like, look, just push it. Just put it out. See how it does. If it does shit, if it does appallingly, it does appallingly. Like, what have you got?
Do it. Just do it. Yeah.
Do it. And it took her about 3 months to really push me to do it. And then I came to her a couple of weeks later, and I just brought her a physical copy of Mulberry Lane, and she started crying. She was like, I can't believe you've actually done it.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Friends like that. That's what you need when you're doing this. You need people who are going to not kind of look at you side eye where when they're saying, go on, go on. They really mean it, and they're there for you. They're your proper cheerleaders.
Exactly. And do you know what? I've got so many surrounding me, which I'm so grateful for every single one.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
So many. But Eve, I wouldn't be here without Eve and my husband pushing me to publish and say, worth giving it a shot. And then while I was just after Mulberry Lane, once I put that in and I was like, I'm going to get this released, a couple of weeks after that is when Lethal's storyline came to me. And it literally just came to me whilst I was listening to one song, and it just slapped me around the face and was like, you have to write this immediately. And I was like, okay.
How long did it take you to write? 6 weeks. Oh my gosh, I don't like you.
But not,
I'm so jealous.
It was when I was writing on Wattpad. So I've got ADHD and autism, and when I was writing on Wattpad, my ADHD was in full hyperfocus mode. So I was writing about a book or two a week, roughly on there, about 30 chapters, so about 30k words, more novellas than books. But I was writing about 2 a week on there without spell checking them, without putting any kind of thought into what I was.
Still, though, that's pretty good going.
You know what? And I was doing that for a good couple of months. I think I was doing it for about 1.5 years that I was doing that and just pumping them out so much.
Yeah.
And then, so I was used to that kind of speed. And then Lethal's story came to me and I was so excited. And I remember finishing writing it and being like, that took so much longer than I was expecting it to do. And then, like, actually, once I hit that last page, I was like, this is the best thing that I've ever written. today. And that was before he went off to the editor and things like that. And yeah, so it got very minor editing did lethal, and it could do with another little bit of TLC. There's some things that I would like to change going forward with it.
But Summer, we always feel like that. You will always feel like that.
And that's it. I mean, Mulberry Lane, I did take off of sale, so Mulberry Lane is no longer available. And it's purely because, like I say, it didn't have an editor for a start off. It had me doing, running through it, spell checking it, reading it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
I had other people read through it, and they are dyslexic and things like that as well. So we didn't pick up on a lot of the spelling errors. The formatting of it wasn't great. It just wasn't work that I want to be comfortable putting my name to.
Okay.
So the intention is to put Mulberry Lane through some serious editing, rewriting, some extra love, and then to republish it, hopefully in the next year or 2. I've been working on a new cover for it and things like that.
I like the current cover.
I love the cover, but I made it with Canva myself, and it's great, but I just don't think it looks very light-hearted for the actual topics that are within the book. It covers violence and things like that. And really,
okay, no, the cover does not say that.
Yeah, so that was another thing that I the initial cover that I had from the cover that it was published with was the second cover that I created. The initial cover suited the book a lot more, and I've actually gone, and the cover that I'm creating, the owners, the 2 main characters of Mulberry Lane are both bookstore owners. So I'm creating kind of that vintage feel, historic kind of book cover that kind of vibe, and that those guys would like, that it has those darker elements in that it needs to have for the kind of book that it is. But yeah, it definitely needs some extra TLC. I can't wait to revisit Faith and Archer again and their story and relive it, because obviously it's my baby, it's my first book, and I'm so proud.
You should be.
Yeah. So I'm just, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun to go through it. But my main job at the moment is to finish Santoni book 3, which we just cracked 15K words on. So it's been a long time coming. It's taken me a year to get the way yet, but I
think I'm just going to go now and just get my coat. Because so my 3rd book, which is a collection of my short stories, comes out the end of this month. And I have been meaning to start book 4 for months. And book 4 is always going to be, was intended to be a family drama type thing. The books 1 and 2, romance. Book 3, supernatural. I just write whatever. And book 4, one of my best friends gave me the idea when we were on holiday, and I thought, yes, I could write a story about 2 brothers who are rivals for whatever reason, and backstory. Now they're adults, and now the things they do to each other, kind of thing. And I sat down to write it, and I started, and I thought, I can't, no, there's nothing. And I sat down to write it, and I thought, there's nothing. And then that got sabotaged by a short story that I wrote last year. And as I was writing it, I thought, this story has legs. Okay. It's going to be a short story, but then I'm going to go back to it, and it's going to be a full-on novel. And I was feeling more content. I was getting more ideas for that supernatural story than I was getting for this family drama that has been over a year in the making in my head, but which I can't actually get onto the page. And so I thought that it's not coming. Stop it. It's frustrating. You're getting upset with yourself. See what you can do with the supernatural thing. And so I've been working on that for the last couple of weeks. 600-700 words a day is all I can. I know, I know, I know. And that's the pep talk I give myself, because I know that it's moving the story forward, and it's more than I was able to get down for the story of the two brothers, which I'm hoping will come back to me at some point, because I really do want to write that. But now I am in my head, and as I'm drifting off to sleep, I sort of wake up and think, send myself a voice note.
Well, yeah, great down. And then you come back to me the next day, you're okay, smile.
What's this? What was this? And it's about supernatural occurrences in Penrith. Never been to Penrith, but I know I'm gonna have to go up to Penrith. So hearing you talk about how much of your ideas you can get down per day, and I guess it's down to how your mind works. You know, you have so much in your head, and you can just put it all down in a coherent form.
And that was it. So when I was writing as much as I was back a couple of years ago, I wasn't diagnosed ADHD at that point. So I only got diagnosed ADHD back in 2024. Well, I'm coming up to it was February 25. So I'm coming up to my 1 year like reviews and things. So it's been a while, and I only started my medication to kind of start balancing my brain out last year. And it kind of, whilst I started writing survival, I found writing survival a lot harder than I found lethal. So writing lethal survival took me just over a year to finish. And I had to take a 7-month gap in writing it, because I was just like, I can't. The topics in survival are a lot heavier than what they are in lethal. And
I could tell from the blurb, yes. Yeah.
When I wrote lethal, I was like, gosh, this is a really dark book. And then I wrote survival, and I started writing it, and I was like, whew, I need a minute. So I had to take a big break. And then by the time I'd finished writing and editing survival and putting it out, I was completely burnt out. I think the thing with being an indie author is it's so easy to burn yourself out, because you're doing so much work.
It's all down to you.
And you've got to make the decisions you've got to find the character artists and the books, and you've got to write it and edit it and work with the editors yourself.
And you've got a full-time job.
And I'm full-time, and I'm the only person in my team as well. So it's not like I've got other people that I can lean on. So it's hard to balance it all. And I did putting out survival with the storyline and marking lethal and Mulberry Lane at the same time. At that point, it was a lot. It was a lot to handle all at once. I am still active on social media. I'm always around answering messages and things. I don't post as often. I don't mark it. And my intention this year is to just carry on like that and just see how they do. Yeah. It's not like my numbers are like flying off the walls. But do you know what? When they are at events, when they are at HEA events, Lethal is the book that flies out, and we're constantly.
It's a brilliant cover. It's a brilliant cover.
And you know what? My best friend is responsible for the covers. I got her. I kind of bribed her into it with me.
Have you got a copy there? Let's show. There you go. It's so simple but so effective.
It's so great. And when Millie first sent me the cover for Lethal, I sobbed. I was in the middle of Costco when she sent me it, and I just started crying, which tends to happen when I get anything related to books, character arts, anything like that. I just start crying. But yeah, I was so lucky to partner with Millie on these ones. She's one of my friends from college, which before I even thought about writing, I met Millie. She's done Survival's cover as well. They're all by the same artist. And she just hit the nail on that there. She's, I can't thank Millie enough, and I can't thank everyone else that worked with me on them enough, because they are absolute gems, absolute brilliant people. I think Millie is at work though, so I do appreciate that.
You do not need to do that. Okay, you could pop out if you like, Millie.
I don't even know how.
It's okay. You could pop out.
How do I? There we go.
Okay.
She's such a gem, honestly. Millie and my other friend Beth, they both light my life up, and I don't know what I'd do without either. They honestly, but working with Millie on them, no questions ever too much for her, and yeah, she's one of my favorite people. I've known her 10 years this year, which is just wild to me. It's absolutely wild. Yeah. Very nice.
So
I think what you said about.
okay, so I have some questions for you.
Go ahead.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Lethal. Set in the US.
No.
Ah, isn't it? Oh, it feels American.
Does feel American, but I don't ever want to tie my books to one specific city or country that actually exists. The reason being is that I have the intention of all of the books that I write going forward being interlinked in some way.
Yes.
So the way for me to do that is there is an entire country that I've developed and that I kind of live in my mind. And that country is called Alamea.
Yeah.
And it's something that I created this country back in my Wattpad days, and it was just kind of the country that I wrote when I was writing about princesses running through palaces and things like this. And yeah, so all of the books are kind of interlinked in a way that they all take place in the same country.
How did I miss that?
It's kind of briefly mentioned, but it does feel very American in the terms of most mafia books I tend to be set in America and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's kind of separate. In my mind, Alameda is kind of the size of Australia and the kind of terrain of Australia where it's got a little bit of everything. All towards Europe side. So it's based in Europe for climates and foliage and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting one, but it's one that pops up quite often.
Okay. Oh, that's good because I've read I'm reading more indie authors now consciously. I probably have in the past and just didn't think about it before I started down this path myself. I wouldn't have given it a second thought. But I'm finding that I don't think I've read one yet that feels like it's British.
Yeah, I found that as well. I think it's because I've seen a lot of discourse online in the past where people have been judged, especially British authors have been judged for writing British feeling books and using British English in their books and their writing. I personally have but yeah, it's something that I expect to pop up at some point. But that scares people quite a bit.
Yeah, that bugs me. That bugs me because when my first book, After the Hurt, I found out after I published it all the things that I didn't know I could have done, should have done. And then by the time Caught Out, I was ready to publish Caught Out and I was going through the beta readers and so on. And then got ARC readers. Nearly all the ARC readers mentioned the British spelling and British phrases. And that is what brought it home to me that where are our UK readers? Where are they? Because there's this author that I really, really like. I really like her books. Most of her stories are set in Wales. And oh my gosh, her name has just gone out of my head. I'm going to have to look her up and tell you and tell the world about her, although she doesn't need our help. I mean, she does very well. Her books do very well. But And I actually did one of my very early book chat episodes was about this, the fact that her books are unashamedly British. They are Welsh, right down to the insults that people throw at each other. You know, there's a little translation at the bottom. Say what this, what it means. And her books do really well. So I just assumed that it wouldn't be an issue to write a story that is very British and the characters speak in British terms and use British. I mean, I don't go all out with the slang because, yeah, you do have to, it has to be accessible, right? Especially for someone who doesn't have the presence yet, like myself. But still, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's really surprised me that it's a real thing.
Yeah. It's really big. I think being an indie author in itself is a hard thing. But being an indie author in the UK, I know I've got a couple of friends that are writing specifically books that are based in the UK as well. So Willoughby, who wrote Haven and has her next book lined up, which is Roots, they're both set up towards Newcastle way, which is really fun to hear and sort of know that I'm relatively local to that as well. Like, it's not too far from me, which is really, really cool. I read an awful lot when I first started getting into reading in my kind of preteen 13-year-old self. I read a lot of books that were like based. Maureen Lee is a really big author who does like historical romances sort of thing. We're all based in wartime, like sort of Liverpool way, which was really fun. And they were it still remains one of my favorite books. It'll just be September. It's one of the books that kind of, it hit all of the points that kind of, I was reading it at 14 years old and I was like, okay, Bob smacked about some of the things that happened in it. And yeah, it's one of those books. If there's any book that I wish I could go back and read again, it would be The September Girls by Maureen Lee. Absolutely, no question.
Okay. I'll make a note of that. Sorry, I'm just looking up this author, and now I've just drawn a blank on her titles as well. The only one that comes to mind at the moment is a title called Good Night. But so many books start with good night. Good night in the title. That it's not coming. And I can't. Oh my gosh, I can't think. If I go to my books, maybe if I browse through my read list, she might come up. So talk amongst yourselves for a bit. So she did as a character called Good Night. Right, I'm going to give this one more page and then I'm going to give up. And it might come to me. And then I shall just... Yeah. Yeah, it will. It will. But yeah, she writes British stories, and even, I was going to say even worse. I don't mean it like that. Even better. They are all set in an NHS hospital.
Wow.
So it is very niche. It is very niche. And her numbers, when you go on to, oh my gosh, why can't I remember her name? Anyway, it will come to me. And so, yeah, so I was thinking that, is this why so many of the books that I've read that seem to be by indie authors, it feels American, it doesn't feel British? And that disappoints me a little bit.
It is. I think it is a disappointing thing, but I also think that a lot of the media that we engage in as well is very American.
It is, yes.
TVs, movies, and other books and authors that you're reading are mainly from America, just as a standard. So for us to be able to think about that, it's thinking about it that way, it kind of makes sense that we would lean more into an American themed styling.
Yeah, and we have to be realistic, don't we? Because we don't have the resources to swim against the tide.
No, absolutely. there's a lot more readers in the US compared to the UK. I know sort of interactions wise, I think I sit roughly average is balanced between the UK and US and other countries as well. But those UK and US are my big two. But US still, I think 56% of my following is still from the US. So it kind of like, yes, you're going to tilt more that way, aren't you? You're going to cater a little bit more to their posting styles, and you want to got that many followers, and you know those are the people that are going to read your books. You're going to cater a little bit more, even if it's subconsciously, you're going to do it a little bit more towards them and towards books you know are going to succeed, which is American-based books usually. But actually, I have started seeing a slight changing in the tides. I have started seeing more UK-based books, especially from my smaller indie authors that I kind of have about online. So, yeah, I hope that we kind of start seeing more of them come through.
Yeah. So how many books do you plan to have in your Santoni series?
So we're intending on 4 in the series, so we're about halfway through. But as of right now, I can't guarantee anything. I mean, so the whole series was supposed to be one single book. It was supposed to be Lethal, and that was supposed to be it. And then about halfway through writing Lethal, I'd already started marketing. I already had the cover. And then I was writing one particular scene where Enzo kind of talks about his past.
Yes.
He's embedded story. I was writing that scene and things that kind of happened to him, and like his almost his trauma that's kind of linked to his family. And it kind of hit me the idea for book 2, and I was like, great, perfect, wonderful.
Yes.
Marvelous.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to book 2. I'm looking forward to book 2 because I want to know what happened to
Yeah, it's an interesting one because a lot of people don't seem to put the ties together, because I think that you have met her in Lethal for a very split second, and it's so minor that you don't really realize that it's her until you start reading the chapters and you read the names at the top and you're like, hold on a second.
I'll have to go back to that.
When people were looking through it, because she was under an alias in Lethal, I realized that a lot of my books have aliases in, which I don't think is ever going to change. It definitely doesn't change for book 3. There is an alias, and it kind of, I like complicating things, so why not? But yeah, it's her story for survival was rough.
Yeah, I could see that, and it's one that I will read when I'm feeling strong, I think.
Absolutely, definitely is.
Let's see the cover. Have you got a copy there? Let's see the cover. Survival, another good cover.
This one's got it's got the tiny little bird up in the top and a little crab as well.
All right.
So yeah, it's the story was just, it was really hard to write and kind of put together, and especially because it's the NMC is obviously Luca, and I wanted to do him justice, and I feel like his golden retriever energy matched with her storyline was just the perfect combination, and it brings such a light to her life that she definitely needs. And yeah, I mean, I've got multiple people that are constantly fighting over claiming Luca as their book boyfriend and refusing to let the FLC couple for themselves. That effing will be fine. Luca's got a fight on his hands on who he gets to keep.
I like Luca as well. I like the fact that, again, no spoilers. I like the fact that when he was given his instructions in Lethal, he sort of went his own way. He kind of thought, I'm not sure that that's where we want to go.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah, so I like Luca. And another question. Do we find out who slipped the Mickey Finn? Or is that question never answered?
As of right now, it isn't.
Okay.
My intention is to answer it in book 3, though.
Okay. Okay.
I haven't written it. I've got an idea in mind that I think it could work.
Yes.
Yeah, when I started writing Lethal, it was supposed to be a book by itself. So I didn't think into all of these little backstories and all of the other side things that come along with it. But I'm seeming to think that it's very much like puzzle pieces and things are falling quite in place quite easily now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it may be uncovered. I think it may come out. Maybe. Potentially. I'm sure.
Or it could just be something that isn't resolved until it is turned into a box set.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe it just never becomes revealed. I mean, I do have an intention. So a running theme throughout all of the books is that there is a character that's scared of an animal. And that's intended to continue all the way through because I really enjoyed that aspect. And I very much center I have my bookcase is over in the corner of the room and it's got a shelf with all of my books on. And they've got tiny little pieces that tie into the books. With Lethal, it's chickens, which is a very big thing, obviously, Tom.
Yeah.
And it's just really, really funny how now every time anybody sees a picture of a chicken, it gets sent straight to me. If they see a decoration of a chicken, or animal of a chicken, it gets sent straight to you. And it's absolutely hilarious.
Where did that come from?
I can't even remember, to be completely honest. I was
Just a 3 a.m. brain fever.
I was just I think I might have been a little bit drunk when I came up with the alcohol. I was just, funny would it be if we just made my main character a ride of something really silly. And then I was just like, it has to be a chicken. And boom, that was it. The chicken thing was born. And then when it came to Lucas, I wanted to do something that just seemed really Luca. And something that he could just be like, no, they're horrific and just fight against them, which he does in the book in Survival. And his reasoning for this fear, every time I talk about it, it just cracks me up because it is so very much a Luca kind of story. They all kind of have their reasonings for their fears. Tori isn't necessarily mentioned, but she just says, I just don't like chickens. They just creep me out. Look at their little eyes and things. Luke has a full-blown origin story to his fear, which is used against him adamantly throughout the entire series, and future books that I'm going to write is going to be used against him. But I'm looking forward to it. The animal that I've got planned and the person who fears it, there's just going to be zero explanation to it. For the character that it is, it just makes it even funnier to me that they're just absolutely terrified of this stupid animal that could literally not harm them if it tried, which is the thing that cracks me the most.
Well, that's the whole thing with phobias, isn't it? It's irrational. And it just makes it interesting. These big, tough people.
That's the part of it, is especially when it's like with Luca, he's very comedic anyway. Mm-hmm. So to have him scared of crabs, which I talk about, it's mentioned in the trigger warnings as well, because that side with Lethal and that side as the have some chickens in there as trigger warning. People are really confused reading it, and I'm like, yeah, that's really fun. And now obviously I have to do it for the rest of the series. So Luca is scared of crabs. And when people are reading the trigger warnings, every single person that I've read it that I speak to come back and been like, it's sexual. That's why Savannah has a little note at the side that says, the sea kind. Don't take this note, it's the sea kind. So I had to put that little disclaimer in my single one.
Right. That didn't even cross my mind, but yes, you put it there now. But I do like your writing style. As soon as I started reading Lethal, I thought, yeah, I know I'm gonna enjoy this. And yeah, I did enjoy reading it, and I will read Survival, but not yet. I might read it when I'm on holiday, because when you're sitting on a beach and you've got a couple of cocktails, then the darkness which I foresee reading in this story might not feel as, I'm going to say it, triggering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I have done it before for people that have had concerns over the trigger warnings. I know people that wanted to read it but were putting it off because they were so anxious about it and not knowing where they were going to be triggered. I'm absolutely happy to sit down and pin down exact pages where things happen if that is what people need for me. It's something that I intend when I get a website to have those freely available, but if anybody does read it and wants to have that information, I'm happy for them to message me on Instagram, to email me. All of the information's kind of out there in the world. I'm happy to sit and pin that down for people, because it may not trigger me to write those things, and it may be hard for me, but it may not trigger me in the way that it triggers other people. But I, as an author, have the ability to make sure that somebody can read my book and not find it as difficult as what they would. But at the end of the day, people have to put their mental health above reading a book. No piece of paper, no words that I write, no matter how much work I put into them, is going to be as important as another person's mental health. And that's something that especially with Survival, I really want that to go out there alongside the book and say, look, this is really dark and it covers some really hard topics that people are not going to be comfortable reading about and finding out about, and the triggers that come along with that. And if you aren't in a place to read it, then please don't push yourself to it just because you feel like you have to. It's absolutely not a necessity. And if you want the information from the book, but you don't want to read it, just let me know. I'll talk to you about it and give you everything without the triggers. I'll give you.
It's not the same experience, though, isn't it? I am not in any way, I promise you, belittling or minimizing being triggered by reading a book, because I have been multiple times. There was one book I put it down with no intention of finishing it, and then I went back and finished it, and I was glad that I did, because the author, actually this was a joint effort, the payoff, I just thought, yes, he got his comeuppance, and that made it worthwhile. But there was a moment where I thought, oh gosh, I can't.
Yeah, and that's exactly what writing Survival felt like, when the person that has obviously done these things to the FMC, when they do eventually get their sort of payment from the world, and however that comes, I'm very proud I've not given any spoilers away yet. It does come, and it comes from the FMC in the way that she deserves for everything that she got through. And it would have been very easy for me to give that to Luca, and for Luca to take that from her, and for Luca to say, don't worry, I'll handle this.
Yeah.
But the FMC is very much one who isn't going to sit down and just let that happen. And I have been told that the first kind of 3/4 of the book feels very slow, because the FNC has been through so much, and she does need to get to this point within herself where she has had enough of being the victim, and letting that fear and the triggers and the PTSD that came along with that, letting it control her life. And Luca very much knew that, and that's why very much Luca kind of just is there to hold her hand while she does it. And that's something that I find very important, and it's something that kind of follows me through the series, and it's the underlying theme that runs with them, is that the guy isn't there to save her. He's there to hold.
And those are my favorite types of stories where, yeah, he could, but so can she.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
I love writing. I love writing women like Tori and everyone else that's to come, the power behind them makes me feel a lot more powerful. And I think in the world that we're currently living in, that's even the books are so good. It's so good to read books about Tori who's going gathering and playing Julia Pafana and all of these good things. And then you've got the second FMC who just really just says this is enough and it's not happening again. Don't you dare.
Yeah.
And then you've got book 3 and the things that happen in there, and she just isn't. Book 3 is completely different to something that I've ever written before. The characters are completely different, and it's a lot harder to write, and I'm having to take my time with it because the characters are different to the kind of characters before. But yeah, it's fun. I'm really, really enjoying it. And even I'm only, I think, about 12, 13 chapters in, and I've already been like, yes, love that part, and that's not going anywhere through editing. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it so far. So it'll be an interesting one as we kind of go through. And then the plans that I've got for book 4, they're not fully cemented yet, but they're kind of coming through the pipework and all of that things. But I've got my FMC planned out for that, and that's someone that people have been asking to see more from. And we see her in Lethal, we get a glimpse of her, we kind of know she's there. And then book 2,
I think I know who this is. Yeah.
she's very much in book 2. She's centered around quite a bit of the storyline within book 2. She pops up again and again. So to have her coming back for book 4, I had to put her at the end because she's a lot younger than the other girls. She's only, when the series starts, she's only 17. Knowing the themes in the book, I didn't want her to be attaching those to her as a younger character. I did want her to age up quite a bit. So by the time that we reach her book at the end, we've gone about 10 years since Lethal started. So we're about 6 or 7 years into it with book 3. So there is quite a big time jump because of that. But it's to stage them all up in preparation for book 4. I could have had them come one after the other, but I think just to make it make sense with that character at the end, it just makes sense. Okay, yeah. We've got plans for the series. They're so fun. But yes, it's an interesting one to be on.
Oh my, there's a lot there.
As much as the series is a dark romance, I feel like it's more dark romance just because of the themes that are involved. Don't feel like it has a lot of the typical dark romance tropes that go along with it.
Not really, no, not really. I didn't find it difficult to read it, because I read so much during lockdown. I was reading, a book a day practically during lockdown. Cost me a fortune. And I was just reading any and everything, and that's when I discovered dark romance, although I didn't know that's what it was called. And I thought, oh, this is new. And I read all this stuff, and I thought, I got to maybe 5th or 6th books, and I thought, actually, I don't think I like this. I don't think I really like these. And Motorcycle Club ones, I discovered Motorcycle Club. I thought, oh, this is really good. I like this. Ooh. And then maybe about 6 or 7 in the same, I thought, I don't really like the culture, the treatment, the language around women in these Motorcycle Club so-called romances. It doesn't feel very romantic to me. In fact, I'm out.
That's it. And I definitely write books that I enjoy myself. So as much as this is the hard one, right? They are marketed as dark romance books, but I don't think I would personally class them as
that dark. They're not that dark.
Because of the topics that are included, I can't market it as a contemporary romance because it wouldn't work. The people that, if you pick it up as a contemporary romance, it's going to be way too triggering for you if you're not prepared for that. Yeah. Which is why I market it as a dark romance, even though it's, what I've had people say is that it's a great start into dark romance if you want to get down that route. Is that Lethal and the Santoni series is a really good place to start, to lean yourself in and kind of dip your toe in and see how you feel about it. Kind of leaves me in this grey area when it comes to marketing, which makes things really difficult.
Yes.
If I market it as dark romance and talk about only the bad side of things and the dark side of the books, people are going to avoid it because they think it's too dark, when in reality...
Yeah, I wouldn't have read it. Yeah.
90% of the books are really happy and fluffy. I mean, there's parts of Survival where they're in a bookshop, they're running around town in the middle of the snow, like really soft moments. And the same with Lethal. I mean, there's very little... It's mainly Tori's attitude that's dark.
Tori is dark. And the whole thing around her family, that's where the darkness was.
Yeah, 100%. And her family and that storyline is the dark aspect. But outside of that, you don't see much of the mafia input. You don't see much of the kind of dark side that you normally get with a mafia romance.
No.
That's why I don't tend to push towards that side when it comes to the marketing as well. But it was definitely one of the...
Cool. Well, we've been talking for an hour. This is the longest chat I've ever had, but this is great. It's been really lovely chat. So which events are you going to this year? Where might I see you this year?
I honestly haven't got anything booked in. At the moment, it's very much I want to finish the Santoni series and then reevaluate where I am. So if I don't want to sign up for things and then actually I'm done publishing now, I don't want to do any more sort of thing. So I'm going to start looking into that, hopefully towards the back end of middle of next year, towards the back end of it, and see where I stand.
Yes.
But right now, I'll be at the HA Leave events if they do any, because it's quite local to me. And I'll be popping into events to see friends and other authors, and obviously I'll post about it on my Instagram normally. I am on Threads as well, so I'll post on there if I am heading anywhere. But if a local event in sort of West Yorkshire way or anything like that, or if anybody is organising any events that wants me out, please let me know.
Okay.
It's fine.
So on the HEA events, I did a reading in December. It was in Nottingham. Went up, did the reading, and sold a load of books, and ended up doing an impromptu signing because loads of people bought the book. So I mentioned this because, seeing as you mentioned HEA, you've got Lethal.
Yeah, they have asked me to do a reading specifically.
Yes.
And I said that I would be down for doing that. But I kind of want to leave it until it comes up to the release of book 3. So I would be happy to I want to read for them. I think it'd be really fun to kind of look at that.
Yes.
But considering my kind of the burnout and everything.
I understand. You've got to do what works for you.
I have also been asked, Lana asked me if we could organise like a signing over there once they get the brick and mortar store opened up. So we will be looking into that at some point as well. So there's a couple of things kind of on the cards right now that are still kind of, we're waiting for the specifics to be worked out about them. So we'll see how that kind of goes down. Tend to pop over to Liverpool, is not too far away from me, so can get to Liverpool quite quickly and quite easily as well.
Fantastic. Oh, well done, Summer. Great work. As I said before, and I'll say it to anyone else who asks, and I'll take on anyone who challenges. I like your writing style. I like your characters. I like Lethal. I'm looking forward to reading Mulberry Lane when it's ready. Great. Thank you, Summer. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. And it's been great talking to you. Thank you, Summer. And thanks to everyone who has joined this conversation. Thanks to everyone who joined the conversation with myself and the very talented Summer Paige. If you enjoyed this conversation, then subscribe to receive notification of other book chats. If you would like to guest on one of my book chats, then do leave me a comment and I will be in touch. Thanks for listening.